Hi, and welcome to the Creative Treehouse. My name is Robin Broom, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. I'm so glad you joined me in the treehouse today. Today's project is a Christmas card, and I just think it's so elegant. I absolutely love it. And it is also a book binding card. So that is what we're going to be making today. Let me show you all the different products that we use to make the card, or at least some of them. All right, we're going to start out with our very vanilla cardstock, and the stamp set is this one. It's the Shepherd's Care, and I happen to have it's one of the $1 million stamp sets that someone that has sold, a demonstrator that sold $1 million, gets to help design a stamp set. And this one was Cindy. I think she's in Pennsylvania. But anyway, I got a signed copy of hers. That's extra special and love it. So we're going to be using this right here for this front, and then this one for the inside. All right, and then the wonderful Spotlight of Nature. We're going to be using two of these dies, and we will also be using the flowers come from one that's in the mini catalog currently that's called Delicate Pines, and it has all kinds, there's tons and tons and tons, but they're flowers similar to that you can make flowers, snowflakes. It is a fantastic set. Use the exposed brick also, and also in that the Delicate Pines is also the leaves, as well as these are the centers of the flowers, and thankfully there's 3, so it cuts out all that we need just in one shot. While I'm thinking about it, it's what I did with this was I backed the gold with the adhesive sheet, because these are small and they've also got holes, so it makes it difficult to glue without the glue going everywhere. So I did use an adhesive sheet on that, but the rest of them I did not. And then when I will put all the measurements on my blog, which is creativetreehouse.blog. So, and then what I did, you'll cut out 2 of these, and to save on paper, you can do this and cut out, you'll need 2 leaves, and you'll need these 3. Now again, although it's showing that, I thought it was easier to actually put those on the adhesive sheet. But anyway, because everything's going to be covered up, and that is what we're doing there. I think that's probably the gist of it. There is that one, and then I did gold embossing on this one. I kind of jokingly and lovingly call this one of the paper plate circles, because that's what it reminds me of. But anyway, so I did the gold embossing on that. So, and again, all the measurements will be on my blog. And this is cut sort of opposite of how you would normally cut. Usually you do 8.5 by 4 1/4, scored at 4 1/4. Is that right? And then, but this is the opposite. So it is 4.5 by 11, 4 1/4 by 11. I'm sorry, is that right? Yeah, 4 1/4 by 11, and then you're going to score it at 5.5, and then you're going to score it one more time. I honestly don't remember the measurement exactly right now, but again, that'll be on my blog. Don't panic. All right, so we're going to do that, and then this is the score line. You're only scoring it that one extra time. You don't need to score it on that side. So I'm going to fold that one back. Okay, and so that is our book binding. All right, and now we can just start putting it all together. I took these pieces and ran them through that exposed brick. So they are going to go on either of those panels, and they're going to have the gold behind it as a mat, the gold foil. So we can go ahead and put in, I put them side by side. It honestly doesn't matter In fact, you could do the whole piece and then cut it however you would like, but that is that. So let me put, and I think other folders would work as well. Let me glue these onto the gold foil, and then the gold foil onto the card. Alright, so that is that little side, like the binding of the book. Alright, and then we'll be careful where we put the glue. In fact, I think I'll probably glue a little bit like this, since there's a giant hole in there. And then just put some glue in these corners here, along the edges. And that should get that without causing a problem. Okay, so there is that. Then we can put all that down, and now we can put glue everywhere. And just kind of line that up. All right, so then it really comes together fairly quickly. All right, now we're going to put this piece down, and so we'll just glue where there's space to glue. I like being able to conserve the paper. All right, I think I got it, and it doesn't matter, so it's a circle, and we'll put that down. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go up just a little bit higher. I remembered that. Just a wee bit higher. All right, because you've got you want to have room for the sentiment to show. And speaking of the sentiment, at least on my stamp, and this is one of the retiring red rubber stamps, so since you can't see through like the photopolymer, mine turned out, you know what, that did not completely do. I did not heat emboss that the entire way. Anyway, now I'm distracted. I had to make mine go up just the slightest bit to make it centered amongst that right there. So we will put some glue on this and glue it down, and it's going to cover up all of those, the leaves that are cutouts. So that's handy dandy. Alright, we're going to set that, see if we can sort of center it. Put it down. I just went over it with the heat tool, so it's a little bit warped now because it's still warm, because I had to fix it. So, but it fixed. It's wonderful. Alright, so we've got that. Look how it's already looking really stunning. Alright, then we'll do our leaves. So we've got 2 leaves that we're going to use. And all I'm using is the Tombow liquid glue for all of these. And let's see, we'll stick that right about here. Just check and make sure you're not going, you don't want it to go over this line because you don't want it to bend, and you also don't want it to interfere with the letters in the sentiment. So you've got that, and then the other leaf. There is only 1 leaf, so you're going to have to cut it out twice. It's kind of disappointing that there's not 2 that go in opposite directions. That would make it a lot easier for a wreath, but that's all right. It still works, and I might have to, let's see if we can get, oops, I'm almost getting into the, might want to, yeah, that's fine. Might want to clip. I think on this one I will. I'm gonna, so I don't know that it's gonna show, but I'm gonna see if I can locate my snips, and they are not where they're supposed to be. So maybe I will cut it off later. I was just gonna snip just a little bit of that, but my snips have walked off. They're probably here somewhere. I don't see them right off. Okay, moving on. Now we'll get to the flowers. And so we'll have 3 flowers. And let me show you how I put those together. So they cut out like this. So you're going to cut out, for this particular card, you'll cut out 6 of them. And then I took my bone folder and I curled them like that from underneath. Just give it a little bit more character, a little bit more dimension. I love making paper kind of come alive with just little tips and tricks that make the paper just seem to jump off the page and come alive. All right, so I'm just going to put a dot of glue in the middle, and then we will offset the top flower because they are identical. Glue that down, and now I'll take the little centers there. They can be probably holly berries or anything else. I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I'm going to get off the adhesive backing that I put on there. Adhesive sheet, maybe. Let's try a different one. There it goes. Okay. We got, I'll pull the backing off, just makes it a lot easier, and then don't have to deal with the glue coming out of the holes. Okay, so now we've got all 3 flowers. Just kind of decide where we want them, and again, you don't want the flowers to overlap with the letters. So I think that's going to look just fine. But I'm going to put those up on dimensionals, and I believe the small dimensionals will be just fine for that. I'm going to start with, let me start with the center. Actually, no, I'm going to start with the others, and I'm going to put the center last. Okay, but it's always a good idea to kind of line them up and decide where they fit best. All right, let's see if there's a way I can hide. Ooh, yeah, I can. I don't have to worry about my snips. I think I can hide that guy right. Let me put this right there. See if that'll work. It will, so I'm going to hide it right there. All right, I've got a backing stuck to me. All right, perfect. And then the last one, and then that way it can kind of be layered up on the top a little bit with some overlap. And I'm going to turn it so make sure you get all the words, but you don't want it to go over the edge. See, there's my dimensional backing. I find them everywhere. It's really, really funny. I've even found them in my car. All right, you know you're a crafter when. All right, doesn't that look stunning? And you could leave it just like that, but what I did is I had a retired ribbon, and I put the adhesive backing, no, tear and tape. I put tear and tape on the back of this. I thought it was a little bit large, but you could certainly do that. I thought it was a little bit thick, and so I put the tear and tape on it. And let me pull the backing off, and then I just folded it in half over on itself. And then that way, I thought about cutting it, but if you cut it, then you run the risk of it fraying, the ribbon fraying. So I thought this worked just fine, and we were able to do this in our class the other night. So there we go. And what I didn't do that I might do this time, let's see if I can find my, I'm going to put just a tiny glue dot. Take up your pick tool again. I'm going to put a glue dot right in the middle of it and see if I can kind of, I don't want it to show. I'm going to sort of stretch it out. There you go. Love this tool. All right, and so I am going to put it like right there. Again, you don't want to go over that line. So I'm going to put it there. And that will hold that down a little bit. And now on the inside, I'm going to flip those over. And I think I'm going to use, it's going to use some tear and tape to put those down as well. Let's see my tearing tape is walked off as well. Seriously, oh my goodness. Because that's what I did before, was I just put some tearing tape to put those edges down. But since I don't have that available, oh yes I do, there it is, there it is, hello. Let me put some tearing tape here. And then we'll glue it. And I'm not even going to worry about taking the backing off of the tearing tape. And so we're just putting those down like that. So that's what it's going to look like here. And get that all situated the way we want it. Okay. And now I'll just use the glue and we will close that whole panel up. Right there, that little one that we scored. Okay, like that. I'm going to press that down. Now our bookbinding part should be complete, and the only thing we'll need to do is our inside. So, hooray. All right, and the inside, what I did was I have got my gold again, and then I used Pecan Pie as my ink, which you could, again, do the gold embossing, but I thought that worked just fine. So we will put that on, glue it down onto our gold foil. Okay. And these, whatever the dimensions are exactly the same, this one and this one. So for the gold as well as the very vanilla. All right. Open up our bookbinding, put that in the center. I just think the gold just makes it so elegant looking. I just love it. All right, I think we got it. So that, I think, is our card. Let me see if I can find the original. See if there's anything that I'm missing. Nope, that looks the same. I think it's the same. Love it. Love it. I hope that you like it. I hope that you've got the products to make it yourself. If you don't, you can always go to my store and purchase any of them. This has been around since last year, the Shepherd's Care, so I'm assuming that it's going to go away, and probably almost all of these things are going to go away. The dies there would probably also go away because they're in the mini catalog. So if it's something you're interested in, I would get it very soon. This video is being done on November 2025. So just as a reference in case you're watching this later. So that is it, guys. Love the card. I hope you do too. Don't forget to leave a comment, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And there should be a bunch of, I'll put a bunch of links and things in the description so that you can not only, you can, find me in all kinds of different social media contexts. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time on the next video. All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.